Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Has the Golden Eyes, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
2 weeks and several missions later. What will you have me do? Naruto asked as he gave the down payment for his mission to a spec trooper standing behind him. They were currently on a separatist cruiser near the planet of Naboo. Naruto had 20 spec troopers with him, with all but one without him on the bridge. They all still wore their white garment, but Naruto was not wearing his cloak, but he still had his scarf on covering the bottom of his face. "My master wants your help in the assault of Naboo," Count Dooku said emotionlessly. Naruto never moved as he motioned for his man to bring the money back to their drop ship. "What else do you wish of me? That was a large sum of money that you gave me. What else do you wish of me?" Naruto asked, just as emotionless as Dooku. Dooku smiled. "I want you to show a little hate to one of our friends," Dooku said with an evil grin plastered onto his face. Anakin was currently standing before the Jedi Council. He was about to receive a mission of great importance. "We have positive ID that the Separatists are attacking the planet of Naboo," said Mace Windu. "What? But, isn't Senator Amidala on the planet currently?" Anakin asked, worry laced into his voice. "The Senator is currently on the planet, yes. Your objective is to hurry your fleet over to Naboo and retake the planet," Mace Windu said calmly. "Retake? What happened to the troopers that were garrisoned there?" Anakin asked, a little angered by their easy defeat. "It seems that they took the troops there by surprise and were unable to properly defend themselves. Now, go and stop the Separatists before they take what is left of the capital city," Mace Windu said. Anakin turned to leave but was stopped by Yoda. "Stop. Accompany him, I will," Yoda said as he stood and walked up Anakin. "Why are you coming?" Anakin asked. "I sense a greater evil coming upon us. May we continue?" Yoda said as they trudged along towards the ship. On board one of the drop ships that was heading toward Anakin's fleet, Anakin was sitting quietly in one of the seats with worry stretched over his face. "I know of your love for that planet, young one, but a Jedi must let go of all emotions if they are truly going to win against the dark side," Yoda said. Anakin only nodded before going back to staring at the floor. This flight was going to be a long one. "Shush, there are a couple more around the corner," said one of the spec troopers. There was only one unit of spec troopers that consisted of 20 spec troopers. They wore the traditional white uniform with white rifles. Currently, all 20 spec troopers were leaning against the corner that led to the conference room where all the leaders on Naboo were meeting. The spec troopers and Naruto were ordered to move in first, quietly, and take the senator hostage while the main droid army attacked the outside. Naruto walked down the line of troops and plucked one of the grenades from one of the troopers' belts and threw it around the corner. The grenade hit the wall on the opposite side of the wall from Naruto and rolled between the two clone troopers' feet. Naruto continued to walk toward the door as the grenade blew up, killing the two clones and blowing the door down that led to the conference room. Inside the conference room were 3 senators and a general. The conference room was enormous to say the least. The higher-ups quickly turned to the source of the explosion. "Who are you?" the general shouted. It seems that the planet of Naboo and its 2 moons were having a scheduled meeting. All looked either shocked, angry, or in deep thought. "I know who it is," the senator with the brown whispered. Naruto turned a questioning eye to Padme as well as the general. "You do? Who is this vile piece of shit?" the general shouted. "His name is Naruto Uzumaki and he is one of the most powerful mercenaries in the galaxy," Padme said while looking into Naruto's eyes. She noticed that his eyes were golden with 3 tomos circling the pupil. Naruto was also not wearing his cloak or any headgear except for his scarf that was around his neck. "How do you know this?" asked one of the senators. "Ah, well, a Jedi Knight told me," Padme stuttered. Naruto smirked at this. "It seems that Anakin has filled Padme's head with good things concerning me. Why would he do that?" Naruto thought as 18 spec troops surrounded the 4 helpless higher-ups while 2 watched the door for any reinforcements. "So, I take it you were hired to help take this planet?" Padme asked. "You got half of it," Naruto said as he pulled out his black lightsaber and walked up to Padme. Sounds of battle could be heard at the edge of the city. "What are you doing?" Padme asked, Fear could be heard clearly in her voice. My job, Naruto said as he swung his lightsaber. Blood splashed against the wall. Hours after the invasion. We will be landing shortly, sir, said one of the pilots over the intercom. Anakin pressed the button to speak to the pilot again. Have they set up a defensive position? Anakin asked. Let's see here. Yes, they have a relatively strong position. Not invincible but relatively strengthened, the pilot replied. Anakin turned to Yoda, who was quietly listening to the conversation. Are you ready, Master? Anakin asked. Yes, ready I am, Yoda replied as their ship entered the anti-aircraft range. Blaster fire erupted all around them as some of the dropships were hit and sent tumbling to the ground. The Council sent a large force of 5 battle cruisers that were jam-packed full of weaponry. The Separatists has 3 cruisers and were currently fighting each other over the airspace above Naboo. If the Separatists lost the battle, then the droids in the city would be stranded. The Jedi's drop hit the ground, and as soon as the doors opened, fire started to hit all around them. Anakin and Yoda were fast to pull out their weapons and deflect blasts, but the troopers in the dropship were torn to pieces. I've never seen the droids so aggressive before. Anakin shouted as they both continued to move up, deflecting blasts along the way. Clones were hiding behind the derbies of destroyed dropships since there was no cover because around the city the area was simply grass with no trees at all. Under command of a smart general they are. Droids aren't as smart as to use cover unless they are directly told to, Yoda said as they moved slowly toward the gate of the city. Since they landed relatively close to the gate, the travel was short-lived as they pressed the backs to wall where droids couldn't hit them. Well, that was fun. Anakin shouted over the blasters that were whizzing overhead. More dropships continued to bring men down on all sides of the city in hopes to find a weak spot, but to no avail. Droids were stationed everywhere, in the city, around the city, on the walls, everywhere. Sir. We got a problem, Rex said over his headset. Rex was currently in his dropship circling the city. What is it? Anakin replied. You know that weapon that was used on the Lumars? Rex asked. Yeah, what about it? Anakin urged on. They've got one near the center of the city and are loading it to fire on the western side of the city, Rex said gravely. Anakin went wide-eyed. I thought we destroyed the only one. Anakin said as Yoda and himself pushed against the gate with the Force. Clone troopers began to show up near the wall, but they were firing at the droids entrenched on the wall. Well, it seems that they built another, Rex said as a loud boom could be heard from the center of the city. A single shell could be seen heading for the western side of the city. Stop all drop ships from landing until the fire passes. Pick up as many as you can before the shell lands. Anakin shouted as Yoda and Anakin finally managed to bust the door down, but as soon as the door was down, more fire was poured onto them. Yoda dashed forward and into the building that the droids positioned themselves in. Anakin could only watch as one by one the windows were cleared of all its droid occupants. Yoda walked out of the building's door, supported by his cane, with a calm exterior around him. Clone troops were swarming in through the door that was smashed down by the 2 Jedi. One of the clones that had a yellow design across his armor ran up to the 2 Jedi. General, we have confirmation that the North attack was successful, but there is heavy fighting in the area. The West is now attacking across the scorched earth and the East is currently held up in the field, the clone reported, but stopped when an ear-ringing blast shook the earth. Unlike when Anakin first saw this weapon, it was hovering on a tank and was much smaller than this one. This cannon was 3 times larger and was mounted to the ground. That cannon is aiming at the eastern flank. Anakin said as he watched as the shell soared towards the eastern flank. Evacuate the eastern flank until the fire is gone, Anakin said to the clone trooper. Yes sir, the trooper said, but stopped when a white blast whizzed past Anakin's head and smacked the clone trooper in the head. The clone trooper was dead before he hit the ground. The 2 Jedi jumped to behind cover as soon as the shot was fired. Did you see that? Anakin whispered as more clones rushed past. It seems that the sniper is aiming for leaders only. Yes, white was the blast. Spec troopers presumably. Yoda whispered back as he peered around the corner. Yoda jumped back as a white blast smashed against the corner that he peered around. Did you see where he was? Anakin asked as a clone trooper stopped in front of the ally that the 2 Jedi were in. Why are you? The clone asked, but stopped when a white blast hit the poor clone in the temple. This clone died before he hit the ground as well. Sniper, shouted one of the clones as he pointed to a 5-story building at the end of the wide street. Which window? Asked a clone with a bazooka. 5 up, third from the left. The clone shouted but was hit the chest soon after saying it, but there was a difference, the blast was red instead of white. The bazooka clone aimed at the window and fired, hitting it directly. That wasn't the spec sniper that fired that last shot, was it? Anakin asked. Yoda simply nodded as they walked back out into the streets. As soon as they began to walk down the street towards the building that the sniper was in, a white-clothed figure with all spec armor jumped out the front door. The spec trooper had all the gear on and had a scoped spec rifle with his helmet and gas mask on for safety. The street leading up to the gate was full of clone troopers. Oh shit, the spec trooper muttered as he ran into an alley so he could lose the horde of oncoming clone troopers. We can't let him get away, Anakin said as the two Jedi used the Force to push him down the street at blinding speeds. They ran into the alley to see the spec trooper run down another alley to his right. Again, the two Jedi chased after the spec trooper, but as soon as they rounded the corner, they were met by intense fire. The spec trooper was being lifted up over a wall by another spec trooper while another one with a machine gun covered them. As soon as the spec trooper was over the wall, the three dashed away from the two Jedi. They work well with each other. They don't leave another ally behind if they are stuck. They put their safety before the mission, Yoda said as they walked back into the street where they first entered. True. The clones that are with us could learn a thing or two from them, Anakin said as he just remembered something. We need to get to the Senate building quick. We have to save the higher-ups before they kill them. Calm down, young one. We will get there in due time, Yoda said with a calm expression on his features. Yes, Master. Whatever you say, Anakin said as he was in deep thinking about what could have happened to his secret wife. I see. This will not hinder our true mission, but that is unfortunate, Naruto said as he watched the clones push the droids back easily. If those were all our men, they wouldn't pass the gates, said one of the two spec troops that was reporting what was happening in the battlefield. Naruto stood on the patio in the conference room. The room was at the top of a large tower, which overlooked most of the city. A jerk at Naruto's heart made him begin to tear up. This is almost what happened when I was in the Sound Village, Naruto thought while looking out at the clones that were making great progress through the city. Naruto sighed. All's well that ends well, Naruto sighed as he turned back to his troops that had a look of worry on their faces. The spec troops normally wore the gas masks wherever they go, but they had them off since there was nobody around to see their faces. Is something wrong? Asked one of the spec troopers. No, nothing at all. Please, report to the others and tell them to hold up in this building. If my calculations are correct, then they should be here in matter of hours, Naruto said as he returned his sight to the city. The two spec troopers nodded and ran off to tell the others. All spec troopers, fall back to the HQ. I repeat, all spec troopers, fall back to the HQ, said the captain of the spec troopers over the portable communicators. Two spec troopers looked at each other and nodded, as if they knew what each other was thinking. Currently, the two spec troopers were in a 3-story building, on the roof, and supporting the droids that were fighting in streets below. One had a sniper rifle while the other had a bazooka and a standard-issue rifle. The droid tank was blown up by a Republic walker that was steadily moving down the street because of all the droids firing various weapons at it. One more shot from the bazooka and we're out, said the spec trooper with the bazooka. The sniper nodded and returned to hitting clones in the head with his sniper. The bazooka aimed his heavy anti-tank weapon and shot off a shot. Get that walker up. Use it to take out the smaller droids. Rex shouted as they continued to fire at the onslaught of droids in the street. Rex looked up at the building that had many super droids in the windows firing their arm rockets at them and blaster fire. Even though the arm rockets that the super droids fired had little effect on the walker, it still did damage that could build up into disaster for the crew inside. But what caught his eye were the two spec troopers on the roof of the building. One had a sniper while the other pulled up a heavy anti-tank weapon. Get out! Rex shouted to the crew inside, but it was too late. The spec anti-tank man fired his weapon and hit the walker before the crew could respond. The rocket hit its right leg and made the walker smash into a building to its left. Rex stood motionless for what seemed like hours, and when he turned he noticed the two spec men were nowhere in sight. Rex immediately snapped into action. You men, come with me to the second story of that house, Rex said as he and two other men went into the house where the walker crashed into. One of the clones rammed the door in order to open it. They looked around and noticed it was just another house and was rather unscathed by the droid occupation. Rex moved up the stairs to the second story of the building but stopped when he got to the door to the room where the walker smashed into. Rex peered around the corner to see the hatch on top of the walker open and a spec trooper with his foot on the opening of the hatch of the walker with a rifle pointed into the hole. Another spec trooper was watching the spec trooper with his rifle in a ready position. The next thing horrified him to his guts. The spec trooper started to fire automatic fire into the hull of the walker where the wounded clones were. No! Rex yelled and dashed around the corner. Both the spec troopers turned to see a clone trooper charging them. The spec trooper that did not do the deed pulled his rifle up and fired a quick shot but missed. Rex quickly tackled the spec trooper that killed the helpless clones in the walker into the side of the damaged walker. Another clone ran into the room with his rifle ready but was immediately shot by the spec trooper with his rifle still in hand. Another clone ran into the room but he wasn't shot. The familiar click of an empty gun made itself known to the room as the spec trooper desperately went for another magazine but was shot by the clone trooper that entered the room. The spec trooper stumbled back into the corner of the room and slumped to the ground with his right hand over heart. Rex was currently punching the shit out of the spec trooper that fired his weapon into the walker but the spec pushed Rex off of himself and punched Rex in the face. The spec trooper followed it up with a punch to the stomach and then a knee to his chin. The last trooper that was in the room with Rex moved around Rex and smacked the spec trooper in the face with his rifle. Rex pulled out his pistol and blasted the dazed spec trooper in the head. The spec trooper quickly dropped to the ground. Rex turned to the only remaining clone trooper. "Thank you for the assist," Rex said. "No problem, sir," the trooper replied but was cut short when a white blast smacked him in the back. There, in the corner of the room where the suspected dead spec trooper sat with a hand over his heart and a pistol in the other, sat a grinning spec trooper. Although you couldn't see the grin because of his gas mask, you could tell that he was grinning anyways. Rex quickly shot the spec trooper in the head making him slump into death with his friend. Rex looked at the dead bodies in the room and in the walker. "Damn it," Rex shouted as he looked around the room. "I could have saved them. I could have saved them if I was faster," Rex whispered to himself. "If only I was stronger," Rex thought as the clones were just outside the Separatists' HQ. Anakin and Yoda were currently dashing through the halls of the Separatists' HQ in hopes of getting to the conference room at the top of the large building. The two saw plenty of droids as they snuck past and even a few spec troopers inside the building. The two Jedi rounded the corner to the conference room but was met by a sight that they did not want to see. Standing in front of the door was Naruto without his cloak or hat. Still had his scarf covering the bottom half of his face and had his Mangekyo Sharingan on and ready for anything. "So nice of you, come, Jedi. Please follow me," Naruto said with an emotionless voice. Naruto quickly and quietly opened the door ever so slightly and closed it just as fast. The two Jedi looked at each other and wondered what Naruto was up to. "What is our plan of attack?" Anakin asked to the experienced Jedi. "I do not see Naruto using hostages, yes. A battle ensues and teamwork will lead to victory," Yoda said wisely as they walked towards the door. "Remember, young one, anger leads to defeat." Anakin nodded and swung the door open to reveal the room to them. Both were shocked at what they saw and one in particular was angered beyond belief. How could you do something like this?" Anakin asked quietly as the two Jedi looked at the contents of the room in horror. All the senators and the general were dead along with Padme who had been stabbed in the chest. Naruto was in the center of the room where the table and chairs used to be. Discarding the table earlier in battle because the up-and-coming battle that Naruto planned for. Naruto simply stared emotionlessly into Anakin's eyes with his Mangekyo Sharingan ready for any stealth attacks. Anakin's fist started to clench and he began to shake in anger. "Damn it, Naruto, answer me," Anakin shouted at the top of his lungs. Naruto never wavered as he watched Anakin get angrier and angrier. Yoda looked at Anakin with concern. "Calm down," Yoda started but stopped when Anakin pulled his lightsaber out. "I'm going to kill you for what you did," Anakin shouted. Anakin charged Naruto with blood in his eyes. Naruto never pulled out his lightsaber as he dodged stab that was sent at him. Naruto grabbed Anakin's wrist and pulled him closer to himself. Naruto quickly backhanded Anakin the side of the face. Anakin stumbled back towards Yoda even angrier than before. "Calm yourself, young one. Anger will only lead to defeat," Yoda said as Anakin balanced himself. Yoda's advice fell onto deaf ears as Anakin charges Naruto with the intent to kill. Naruto shook his head and ducked under the horizontal swipe for his neck. Naruto punched Anakin in the stomach and followed it up with a punch to his chin, making Anakin fly back against the wall, effectively knocking Anakin out. Yoda sighed and shook his head at the ease that Anakin was dispatched. Is this what all Jedi are like on the inside? A raging helpless dog that, whenever hurt closely, jumps blindly into an enemy that is stronger than them. Naruto asked Yoda emotionlessly. That is what happens when a Jedi is blinded by anger. Something in this room must have struck him close, Yoda said while looking at the dead inside of the conference room. Naruto nodded his head. So, let us begin, Naruto said, as he pulled out his black lightsaber in his reverse grip. Yoda pulled his out as well. Then I'll take the initiative then, Yoda as he dashed towards Naruto with amazing speed. To most, this speed would be hard to keep up with, but to Naruto, he could easily see the Yoda with ease. Green and black smashed into each other as the battle of two of the most powerful beings in the galaxy smashed into each other. There's a spec sniper in the second floor. 4 windows from the right. Rex shouted to his men as they battled the droids and spec troopers outside the Separatists' HQ. Fighting over this building has been fierce as clone troopers steadily pushed the droids back into the building. The only hard part was when they ran into spec troopers that were bunkered in strong points and they surrounded by droids. A clone sniper aimed his scope rifle at the spec trooper to counter-snipe the elite spec trooper. I see him. Hold on, the clone sniper adjusted his scope and aimed again. There you are. Say goodbye you filthy, the trooper started but was cut off as a white blaster slammed into the sniper's skull, making him slump to the ground. Damn it. You, with the bazooka, blow that fucking window to hell. Rex shouted as red blasters peppered all around him. The cover that he was behind was starting to shorten by the intense fire that was being put out by the droids inside the HQ and from the buildings around them. What is taking Charlie and Delta so long to clear those buildings? Rex thought as the clone with the bazooka aimed and fired at the spec sniper inside the Separatist HQ. The spec sniper flew out from window and landed in the droid lines. Good shot. Rex shouted as he patted the clone that fired the bazooka on the back, but stopped when he saw the spec sniper steadily get up while holding his arm. Another droid helped him up as they slowly made their way back inside the HQ. Oh no you don't. Rex shouted as he jumped from his cover and chased after the wounded sniper. The other clones saw this as a charge and soon stood up and followed their lieutenant into the fortified droid line. Blasters flew past Rex as he set his sight on the sniper as they slowly made their way up the long stairs where large chunks of rock and steel lay all across the stairs to the front entrance. Rex jumped over the droid's cover and past several droids and toward his target. The clones followed Rex over the wall but stayed and fought the droids there. Rex soon caught up to the two and fired his rifle at the pair. The blast hit the droid in the back, making it fall to the ground dead. Rex kicked the spec trooper over so he could face Rex. The spec trooper his gas mask and helmet on like all the other spec troopers, but one of the eyepieces to his gas mask has been cracked due to the fall from the window. Rex held his rifle to his face and one of his feet on the spec's chest. Why are you here? Why are spec troopers fighting in this battle? Rex shouted over the battle that was behind them and the blasters that flew over them from the windows. The spec trooper simply stared back into Rex's eye as if asking him to pull the trigger. Damn it, tell me. Why are all you here? Rex said as he started to remember what happened to the crew that was inside the walker. Tears started to roll down his cheeks and from his helmet as he looked at the gas mask of the spec trooper. The spec trooper tried to say something but all Rex saw was blood run down from the bottom of Spec's gas mask. Rex gently pulled off the Spec's helmet and gas mask to reveal something that filled him with horror. He looked exactly like him. You're a clone. Rex stuttered out as he took his foot of the Spec's chest and dropped the aim of his rifle. The spec trooper grinned at the sight of the clone in front of him. Yes, I am, the spec trooper said as he coughed up more blood. Then why are you on their side? You should be with us, Rex whispered. The spec laughed at this. What's so funny? Rex asked. He grew a little angrier from the spec's laughing. Do you remember the cloning vats that were stolen a little while back? The spec trooper said he started to slip into a blissful sleep. Rex remembered and it hit him like a ton of bricks. Why didn't they tell us? Rex asked to no one in particular. They were scared that if you guys ever faced us in battle that you pity us go easy instead of the fierceness that you show against the droids, but let me tell you a little secret, the spec sniper said as Rex leaned closer to hear what he had to say. The spec grabbed the top of Rex's armor and pulled him to his face and whispered, "We will not hesitate to shoot you at will. We will kill you if we saw it that you are going to disrupt our mission. So tell the other that we are clones, but know this, we will kill you if we need to." And with that the clone let go of Rex's armor and died. Rex looked at the spec trooper for what seemed like hours until he picked up the spec's gas mask and put back onto the spec's face and returned his helmet to its rightful place on the spec's head. "I won't tell the others about this. It will make the job too hard for them," Rex thought as he looked back down at the battle. The droids were all gone and the clones were behind the wall that once served as droids' cover and were firing their rifles and other weapons at the HQ. The surrounding builds seemed to be clear as blur blasters were being fired out of the windows towards the HQ. Rex himself was near the door and at an angle where the droids couldn't hit him, so the blasts were being fired all above him. Rex slowly walked to the large door and sat against it. The information that he just learned still spinning in his head. "So we were fighting our own brothers this entire time," Rex said as he took off his helmet and buried his head in his hands. Clone demolition teams were moving up to blow the door open so they could enter the well-fortified building. Yoda clashed lightsabers with the mercenary once more and jumped back to get some room between them. "This man is truly gifted in the arts of the lightsaber, but he has not demonstrated any use in the Force," Yoda thought as he did a force push at Naruto, but Naruto lifted his hand that wasn't busy and pushed back with a black aura. The two stopped the power play and looked into each other's eyes. "I see you do not use the Force, him. I have heard of your unique powers from the others did come in contact with you and were able to witness your power. Tell me, are you a servant of the dark side?" Yoda asked as they caught their breath. Naruto less tired than Yoda. "I am not aligned with the Separatists or the Republic if that is what you are inquiring. I fight for myself and nothing more," Naruto answered emotionlessly. "I can see that have been through a lot in your past. You have suffered too much for one being to endure, and for that I respect you, but that does nothing to stop the fighting between us," Yoda said as he readied himself for anything that may be thrown at him. Naruto lifted his hand that was unoccupied and formed a single hand seal. Another Naruto soon dashed towards Yoda. Yoda in turn sliced the clone in half but backed up when another clone was over him and sent a kick towards his head. Yoda was awestruck when he was able to see that indeed the Naruto he struck was just a decoy and the original Naruto never moved a muscle. The clone Naruto soon dashed at Yoda and began fighting him as the original Naruto began to shoot through one-handed seals and lifted his arm and pointed towards Yoda. "Lightning shot no jutsu," Naruto said calmly as the blue lightning ripped through the ground towards Yoda. Yoda quickly finished off the clone, because the clones are only half as good as the original, and made a force shield against the deadly lightning. The lightning smacked against the shield and died away just as fast. "I see. Naruto needs to go through hand signs in order to use those attacks," Yoda thought as he ran towards Naruto. Naruto swiftly tried an underkick, but Yoda simply jumped over the kick and stabbed Naruto in the neck. Yoda let go of his lightsaber as Naruto stumbled back from his wound to the neck. "And this is why you are weak, young one," Yoda said as he walked towards Naruto to obtain his lightsaber but stopped when there was a black beam across his neck. "You underestimate me, wise one," Naruto said from behind Yoda. The Naruto with the lightsaber through his neck puffed from existence, leaving the lightsaber on and on the ground. Another Naruto walked from behind Yoda and picked up his lightsaber and turned it off. "Maybe I have," Yoda said as he relaxed as he noticed Naruto taking good care of his lightsaber. The Naruto walked back to the Naruto behind him and gave him the lightsaber. Naruto soon turned off his lightsaber and chakra pushed Yoda gently to the other side of the room. Yoda turned but froze when a blue lightsaber was stuck through Naruto's back and out the front. Anakin turned off his lightsaber so he could watch as Naruto stumbled forward towards Yoda as blood stained his pure white uniform. Naruto began to spit up blood into his pure white scarf, as he looked into Yoda's shocked eyes. "Since you took away the life of someone that was precious to me, then I will take away yours," Anakin said emotionlessly. Naruto turned towards Anakin and grinned. "Oh, how I enjoyed killing her. She was certainly a screamer when I slowly pushed my lightsaber into her chest," Naruto said with an empty grin. To Yoda, it seemed forced and that Naruto was not enjoying saying it, but to Anakin, it was like he enjoyed what he did. You bastard. I'll fucking kill you. Anakin shouted as he turned his lightsaber back on and charged the helpless form of Naruto. Just as Anakin was about to slice of Naruto's head, Yoda blocked the strike. Stop this immediately. Don't you see what he is doing? Yoda shouted as he pushed Anakin off of him and away from Naruto. Shut up and let me kill him, Anakin said in pure rage. Naruto was soon standing up behind Yoda. Yoda turned and looked at Naruto. He had no wounds. How are you not wounded anymore? Yoda asked in curiosity. Naruto grinned underneath his scarf as the world around them began to melt away. The two Jedi soon saw themselves standing next to each other with Naruto sitting in a large chair at the end of the long table. The three senators and a dead general in the corner of the room. The two Jedi were breathing heavily while Naruto seemed perfectly fine. The three senators seemed frightened as they were able to watch the entire scene play out from their seats. What just happened? Yoda asked. Genjutsu. The entire thing that you saw before was an illusion, Naruto said simply. Padme seemed frightened by a dark Anakin. Anakin quickly made his way towards Padme and hugged her for comfort. What was that? Padme asked into Anakin's chest as the Jedi seemed to begin to cry. I thought I lost you. You are my life, Padme. When I thought that Naruto killed you, I went ballistic and tried to get revenge, Anakin whispered into Padme's shoulder. Yoda continued to ask questions, as Anakin talked to what Yoda thought was his childhood friend. But the entire ordeal felt so real, and even now I feel tired from the ordeal, Yoda asked. Genjutsu makes your sensory organs think that they are fighting while in reality you are doing nothing but standing there motionless. I can move around outside the Genjutsu but are unable to, Naruto explained. This power is truly incredible. I will have to watch out for this one, Yoda thought as Anakin stood up from his knelt position next to Padme. Anakin looked directly into Naruto's eyes to get a good look at him. Why did you do all this? What was your mission? Anakin demanded. My mission was to help take Naboo's capital and to force you experience hatred, Naruto said simply as he stood from his seat. You are unable to leave, mercenary. You must be taken and set to trial for the crimes you have dealt to us, Yoda said. Naruto shook his head as Rex and 5 other troopers ran to the door's entrance. The building is secure. All droid and spec troopers are reported as dead. Rex shouted as he noticed Naruto slowly walking towards them. They were good men. I hope to see them in the afterlife, Naruto said with his eyes closed. Naruto then began to sprint as he quickly opened his eyes. They seemed to be strained. Amida Sharingan. Naruto shouted as he simply disappeared. The 3 clones dropped to the ground due to being pushed out of the way. Yoda and Anakin was shocked and looked out the window to see Naruto's ship retreating towards the separatist ship was still battling it out in the sky. Yoda shook his head. We are going to have to watch this one. It could be dangerous if we don't start hiring him, Yoda said as he looked over to where Anakin was still watching the ship that Naruto retreated to. It seems that Anakin is going to be troubled by Naruto's genjutsu for a while. Let's hope that we can find a way counter this power and soon, Yoda thought as he turned to the troubled senators who were talking amongst themselves. I will find out who you truly are, Naruto. If it's the last thing I will do. Anakin thought as he continued to stare into the retreating separatist ship's engine. How went your mission? Dooku asked as Naruto walked into the bridge of the separatists' battleship. Mission accomplished, Naruto returned emotionlessly. Dooku grinned evilly as he turned to the holopad in the center of the room. Good job, my friend. My master wishes to speak with you. Will you accept? Dooku asked as he put a finger on the button on the console of the pad. I will talk to him, Naruto said. Dooku pressed the button and a man with dark cloak and a hood that covered his face appeared on the hologram. Is this him? The shady figure asked. Yes, master. This is him, Dooku replied. Ah yes, I've heard much about you. Tell me, do you summon that strange colored force by utilizing in the dark side? The shady figure asked. No, Mr. Counselor, Naruto said emotionlessly. Both of the Sith Lords were shocked at what Naruto has figured out so quickly. How did you figure it out? Dooku asked. A good mercenary always looks at all his information about his clients before accepting the contract. I knew that Dooku had a master, but meeting you just confirmed my suspicions, Naruto said. I see. Well, tell me, are you going to shout this information to the entire galaxy? Or, are you going to keep it on the low? The counselor asked as Dooku shifted towards his lightsaber and the droids at the door cocked the guns. Naruto looked at his surroundings and shook his head. I'm entitled to keep any information that I gather from a mission a secret, and since you have yet to pay me I am technically still on the mission, Naruto said as he shifted towards the briefcase that a droid commando was holding near the door. Good. Then I trust you in the respective, but you still haven't told us how you use that strange black power, the counselor asked. Naruto shook his head. I cannot tell you how I use my power and where it comes from. I'm sorry, Naruto said. I also respect your secrets. Think of it as payment for keeping our secret a secret, the counselor said before disappearing from the holopad. Dooku turned to Naruto. Here is the payment for the mission, but I must ask, why did you not use both lightsabers? I have confirmed information that you use two different styles at the same time with two lightsabers. Why only use one? Dooku asked out of curiosity. I only use two when I am being pushed to my limits. Facing against an angry Anakin was simple because he was so blinded by anger that I never needed to use a lightsaber at all, Naruto said as he turned to leave. The commando droid gave the money to Naruto as he left the bridge to his fighter that was in the hangar. Well, that was a simple mission. Facing Yoda was most entertaining though, Naruto said as he jumped onto his fighter but stopped when Dooku called his name once more. Naruto, from my information you face against Yoda, Dooku said. Naruto simply nodded. Tell me, did you win your battle? Dooku asked with interest. You could say that, Naruto said as he jumped into his fighter and took off into space. So, Naruto was able to beat Yoda. You are truly a strong mercenary, Naruto, Dooku thought as he walked back to the bridge of the ship. There, waiting for him was the counselor. Is the attack plans ready for the hostile takeover? The counselor asked. The attack plans have been looked over time and time again and the invasion planet 946 will be underway soon enough, Dooku said with an evil smile. How did the mission go? One of the Jedi asked as Yoda and Anakin stood in front of the council. Our mission was a success but we took heavy casualties due to the presence of spec troopers who commanded the droids making them more tactically smarter and the showing of the super weapon once more, Anakin said. I see. Was there any other problems that you encountered? Another Jedi asked. Yes, Naruto was there, Anakin whispered but everyone heard. That could have been a problem if Yoda hadn't agreed to go along, Mace Windu said. Actually, the mercenary is equal or stronger than me. Naruto's power grows with every passing moment, Yoda said, earning a collective of gasps from around the room. If he is more powerful than you, then he is one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Mace Windu said. This is a problem. If we are going to ever defeat him then two or more Jedi will have to face him at once. Everyone remembers what happened at the grassy village where the Lerman live, Anakin announced to the group of Jedi. Yes, everyone was told of this. Naruto was able to fight on par with 3 Jedi and even managed to kill one. That was a grim day indeed. This may be a problem in the future. Issue the order that if any one Jedi that would come in contact with Naruto to flee, Mace Windu said to a commando who was standing next to the door. So we cannot face him up front? Anakin asked, a little peeved that Naruto got the best of the Jedi Council. No, but what we can do is spy on all of his mission until we have a good understanding on what all his powers are, and when the opportune time comes we can strike or strengthen our relationship with the lone mercenary, Mace Windu replied. Everyone seemed to agree with Mace Windu. As Obi-Wan and Anakin walked out of the room, Anakin had to ask what was on his mind. The Jedi using the art of spying and deception. That is against our rules, Anakin said as they walked down the stairs. That may be true, but there are special cases that we are forced to use these tactics, Obi-Wan replied in his teacher mode. Anakin nodded in understanding. Naruto was one person that you didn't want to face alone or you would be as good as dead. 3 weeks later, Naruto was currently sitting in the cafeteria of the base with several of his men sitting close by eating and talking with the occasional laugh from a joke along with his trainer in the rifle Cash. Cash was a human girl from the planet of Tatooine and was raised as a slave but learned how to shoot from her dad for self-defense. Cash had brown hair, brown eyes, tan skin, and was 5.6 feet and was the same age as Naruto, which is 20. She joined the White Knights because she knew where else to turn to and Rajan must have saw her talents in ways of the rifle. Naruto was currently taking a break from another short mission that only needed to take care of a local drug lord somewhere on the Inner Rim. Naruto didn't much care, but something caught his interest when he heard the planet 946 mentioned in conversation by the spec troopers next to him. Yeah, haven't you heard from our spy ring in the separatist faction? The droid army is planning an attack soon on planet 946. I've heard that they don't even know the art of space travel yet, exclaimed one of the spec troopers. Naruto flinched at this. Why are they attacking them? From what I've heard, the people of the planet are harvesting all the resources that are there and are taking great care of the planet. If the separatists take the planet, then they would only pollute the planet, replied one spec trooper. It was true what the spec trooper said. Generally, when the separatists take a planet, they build factories and build droids from there. We know, but since we are a mercenary group, we can only watch in hopes that the Republic is able to stop the attack, another spec trooper from another table said. Naruto stood abruptly and walked back to his quarters. The spec troopers and Cash looked at Naruto's cloaked form with questioning eyes as Naruto turned and left the group to wonder why he did that action. Is it something I said? Asked one of the spec troopers. His men have come to look up to Naruto as well as the other men that are in the other groups. With Naruto's 100% mission success rate and amazing leadership ability, Naruto quickly became the person to turn to in need of help. Although Naruto was still as emotionless as ever to everyone around him, but his men seemed to not care at all. No, there has to be something connecting Naruto to that planet. Everyone lock and load. I think we are going somewhere, Cash said to the group of men sitting around her. The spec troopers nodded and ran off to tell the others to meet at the bridge and get ready for a long fight, just in case. Cash is also under the command of Naruto as well, but she was still better with the rifle than Naruto was. Naruto was getting better and better at an alarming rate. Naruto entered his room and grabbed his cloak and weapons from the sealed areas inside the locked area inside his metal closet. Much of the base looked the inside of a submarine except a little bigger. Naruto sat on his bed and looked at the metal ceiling of his room, think for what seemed like eternally. Naruto then unsealed his hat and placed it upon his head. Naruto's walk to the hull was silent, but when Naruto entered the bridge he saw all his men on board transport ships, ready to take off to where he commanded. Cash walked up to Naruto. Now you don't think you are going to defend that poor planet all by yourself now, do you? Cash said with a smile. Naruto shook his head with a grin that was underneath his hat, scarf, and cloak, well, all the above. Looks like I don't have much of a choice now, do I? Naruto said as he walked over to his fighter and jumped into it. All right everyone. Just follow me and you will all be fine. Naruto shouted to his 100 men in the 10 dropships behind him. All of the new Naruto would never hurt them in any way, shape or form. When they were about to exit the bridge, Naruto caught a glimpse of Rajan standing next to the door leading into the hull. Rajan was simply smiling at what Naruto was doing. Naruto grinned underneath his clothing as the small army shot off into the distance. Welcome home, big brother, a black-haired figure said to a taller black-haired figure that was wearing an Anbu uniform on. The shorter of the two jumped into the awaiting arms of the taller one. Glad to be home, Sasuke, Itachi said as he let go of Sasuke. Sasuke was currently the hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, while Itachi was the captain of the Anbu. After the war that ends all wars, people have been prospering and living in quiet and easy peace. Since crime and other things of this sort decreased drastically after the war, the number of ninja in all the villages has decreased to where the only ninja left were Anbu and the special few that wanted to learn. So cut the ninja population to about half to what it was before the Great War. People throughout the world still hates Naruto to their very core, but some people are starting to come around and see what actually happened. Sound and Rain still hold their secret allegiances to never tell what the lamb means to anyone, even their own children. Expecting this secret to die with their generation as well as all the wrongs that they've committed against the world. The Rookie 9 as well as Sasuke and Itachi have still been training in order to get to the level that Naruto achieved. Everyone sees Sasuke as the hero of the world because he defeated Naruto single-handedly, but Sasuke doesn't see himself stronger than Naruto because Sasuke knew that Naruto was stronger than him at the time of their battle and he simply held back. Itachi was emotionless to everyone except Sasuke. Currently, Sasuke was at home sitting on the roof where Itachi normally met his little brother to look at the stars. They loved to look at the stars in remembrance of everything that has happened to their family and what was left of it. There are only 3 members of the Uchiha clan left, and that was Sasuke, Itachi, and Madara, who disappeared shortly after the end of the Great War. Where do you think Naruto is right now? Sasuke said as they both looked into the sky with their coal black eyes. Probably kicking some ass somewhere else, Itachi said as a star shot across the sky. Make a wish. Sasuke and Itachi both closed their eyes and wished for the same thing. I wish I could see you one last time, Naruto, they both wished as the star shot off into the horizon. They continued to look into the moonlit sky until a feminine voice came from below them. Dinner, the voice of Sakura said from the kitchen. Shortly after the war, Sasuke married Sakura because she seemed to have grown out of her stupid fangirly stage to the point where she was bearable. Itachi and Sasuke looked to each other and smiled. Right then and there, the 2 most powerful ninja in the world were in pure bliss. One day after the bright light, we were unable to find the impact site Hokage-sama, and Anbu said while bowing to Sasuke inside of his office. The night before, while Itachi and himself were on the roof their home looking into the peaceful sky, that they witnessed meteor hit the surface of their planet. The impact made a bright flash the distance that was clearly in Iwa's borders. A joint team of Anbu from both Iwa and Konoha was sent to investigate the area but came up with nothing. I see. Thank you, Rat-san, Sasuke said as the Anbu with the bird mask disappeared from the room. Sasuke sighed and turned in his chair to look out over the village of Konoha. The village has grown over the years and was growing close to the village that was in Sound territory. What do you need, brother? Itachi asked from the front of the desk. Sasuke turned to look his brother in the eye. Itachi has the Raven mask on to hide his identity, but was still the head of Leaf's Anbu Corps. Thank you for coming. Will you check out the crash site? I know you will be able to find it if you tried, Sasuke said with a smile. Sure, but why is everybody so worked up about this? Itachi asked in curiosity. Well, some of the people thought it was a UFO that crashed into the area high in the mountains. Where they got that idea I don't know, but to silence these crazy people we are going to find this crash site and prove that it's just a meteorite, Sasuke said, informing his older brother of the situation at hand. The mission will be done, Hokage-sama, Itachi said and disappeared from the room. This has been the first public outcry since the Great War. What could this mean? Itachi thought as he ran out the gates of Konoha and towards the borders of Iwa. Night of the bright light. Shit, why does the atmosphere have to be so condensed? Naruto shouted as his fighter went crashing down into what was clearly Iwa's mountains. Naruto knew this because when he was at war with every country in the world he had to study every geological area in every country. So yes, he knew his way around. Naruto's ship smashed into what seemed like a small cave. Naruto ejected just before the small fighter went crashing into the cave, and it didn't help that Naruto had fuel to last him a trip there and back to Pantora 5 times. Naruto immediately jumped behind a rock that was large enough shield himself from the blast that was sure to happen. Sure enough, the blast erupted that almost blinded Naruto, but he was saved due to the straw hat that was swiftly pulled in front of his face. Once the blast died down, Naruto stood up and looked all around him. The rocky earth was charred beyond belief because of the blast, and Naruto was sure that the light from the blast was seen from all around the area. Well, this is bad. Anbu are going to be all over my ass in a matter of hours, Naruto thought as he turned to the dark mountain behind him. The spot that he crashed was truly beautiful. Naruto could see the entire valley that made up the breadbasket of Iwa, with the capital that Deidara massacred on the opposite side of the valley. There was a full moon that lit up the entire area that just added to the tranquility of the scene. Naruto wore his pure white uniform and cloak while he had on his gas mask and straw hat that covered up his face completely. This was quite the time to land, but I need to cover this up before the obvious Anbu show up, Naruto thought as he did a few earth jutsu that covered up the entrance to the cave while also clearing the area of any charred markings of his crash. Damn it. Forgot to cover my chakra. This might be a problem if someone with the Sharingan or Byakugan shows up. They can easily track me down. Naruto thought to himself. Since he used to be around people that never used chakra, Naruto never needed to mask his chakra until now. It has been a while since then. Now back to my mission. Now we agreed to meet on an island near the capital of water. Great, I was blown off course big time, Naruto thought as he began to walk towards the island that he told his men to land. It was the middle of the day when Itachi arrived at the mountains that the believed UFO crashed. Itachi swiftly activated his normal Sharingan and made about 20 shadow clones and started to scout the mountain. As to this day, Itachi and Naruto were the only ones believed to have mastered this technique. About 1 hour later 19 of the clones were gone while the last one was still searching. What is taking the clone so long? Maybe, Itachi was stopped from his musings when a rush of useful information rushed into his head. It seems that his last clone near the top of the mountain has found something. Itachi quickly dashed to the site where his clone found the evidence. Upon entering the site where his clone found the information to find one of the most beautiful sights in his life. Looking out over the lush green valley that made up Iwa's breadbasket and at the end of the valley the jewel that made up Iwa's new Awakage Tower. It was built into the side of the mountain as to give it support from another attack. Itachi was quickly shot from his musings when another chakra signature seemed to be directly above him. An Anbu from Iwa was standing in front in blink on an eye. Hello Raven-san. State your business inside the borders of Iwa please, the Iwa Anbu with a rhino mask on asked. I'm currently looking for the crash site from the bright light, Itachi returned with a grin. Iwa and Leaf have been getting along great ever since the Great War ended. They were two largest powers after they took rain and sound from the top. The people of Iwa still a little ill-intentions toward sound as does the countries of Swamp and Star because the treatment the Sound Ninja gave to the population of the three countries. I see. Any luck? Can I be of any assistance? The Rhino Anbu asked as two other Iwa Anbu jumped into view. Itachi, of course, knew that they were there the entire time. If you wish to stay then so be it, but you do not need to if you don't want to, Itachi said emotionlessly as he continued to look around area with his Sharingan. The three other Anbu started to search the area as well. It was about another 15 minutes until Itachi finally found something. There seemed to be the use of chakra in the side of the cliff as to make sure no one get into the area. There was also a trap set up so no one could mess with the area or the entire area would simply blow up. What did you find? An Anbu with a bull mask on asked. I found the use of chakra in the side of this cliff, Itachi explained to the three Iwa Anbu. It's embedded into the side of the mountain. Bull asked. Yes, Itachi replied while looking at the chakra that was used. Itachi truly wished that he brought a Hyuga with him so he could see what was on the inside. But this could mean anything. Is there someone here to cover up the crash and take away whatever fell from the sky? Anything is possible. An Anbu with a monkey mask on said to the group. True, but I think I found out where this ninja that stole the meteorite went, Itachi said as he looked towards the path where the unknown ninja traveled. The ninja seems to be simply walking so the thief was only a half a days away. Are we going to catch him? Bull asked. Well no shit, Rhino said as he slapped Bull over the head. Monkey and Itachi simply sweat dropped at this as the two started on their way down the path at high speeds. 12 hours later. Shush, we are approaching the target, Itachi whispered to the group behind him as they approached the ninja who simply stood in the center of a clearing. The ninja left the mountains a while ago and was now in the foothills of the border near the Iwa swamp countries. Maybe he isn't hostile, Monkey asked. True, let's approach as if we are friends, Rhino suggested. Itachi and everyone seemed to agree with this as all four Anbu entered the clearing. In the center of the clearing was a man about Itachi's height wearing a pure white cloak that went from his heels to his nose area. He was also wearing a straw hat that shaded his face, making it impossible to see underneath. The breeze fluttered the bottom of his cloak as they entered the clearing. What do you wish of me? The figure asked in a very static voice. It seems that a mask of some sort was muffling his voice. We traced you back to the crash site of the bright light. What are you covering up and what did you take? Monkey asked with authority in his voice. The figure turned around to face them but they could still not see past the darkness that made up his face. I've felt this chakra signature before but from where? Itachi thought as the white-cloaked figure stared at the three Anbu in front of him. I'm not covering anything up Monkey-san, as well as take anything, the white-cloaked man said in his static voice. That's a lie. We traced you back to the crash site. Now what did you take? Rhino shouted. Sorry, but you must have me mistaken for someone else, the static voice of the white-cloaked ninja stated. This static voice was beginning to piss off the Iwa hotheads that was Bull and Rhino. Monkey was beginning to get angry himself while Itachi was as calm as ever. If you don't tell us then we will have to get the information by force, Bull said angrily as the three Iwa Anbu began to pull their weapons. Then I am not responsible for your deaths, the white-cloaked man said as he continued to stand in his relaxed position. You kill us. Do you really think? The rhino started but was interrupted when all three of the Iwa Anbu simply fell to the ground with their heads sliding off. Itachi was in awe. It was like in a half of a blink of an eye the three Iwa Anbu that were with him died. How can someone move that quickly? It was simply impossible. The only ones capable of moving that fast was the Yondomi and Naruto, both of which are dead. So, how can this man move this fast that even the legendary Sharingan can't keep up with it? Hello, Itachi, the white-cloaked man said, interrupting Itachi from his musings. Who are and how do you know my name with my mask on? Itachi asked as he slipped off his mask and sealed it away. The white-cloaked man sighed and shook his head. You're getting rusty, sensei, the white-cloaked man said in his static, emotionless voice. Itachi's eyes widened. There was only one person to have ever called him sensei and that was. Take off your headgear, Itachi demanded. The white-cloaked man complied and took off his hat. Underneath the hat was a gas mask that made it impossible to see his face. The man slowly pulled off his gas mask, so slow that it hurt Itachi in the heart. Once the mask was off, Itachi couldn't believe what was happening. There, in front of him was the man that united the world through pain and suffering. Naruto sealed his mask and hat away in his sleeves and looked at Itachi with his normal golden Sharingan activated. Naruto did not pull up his pure white scarf. But, what, how, Itachi stammered out. Naruto simply stared at stuttering form of his old-time friend. Itachi stopped his stuttering and simply looked into Naruto's eyes. Itachi began to walk towards Naruto slowly. Naruto raised an eyebrow in confusion. What was he doing? Itachi broke out into a run and smashed Naruto into the ground with one of the largest hugs that anybody would have known. Then Naruto saw Itachi do something he would have never thought he would see him do. Itachi began to cry. Itachi cried into Naruto's pure white scarf and was beginning to make it very wet, but Naruto never cared. He simply hugged his friend back. Itachi's crying finally subsided and Itachi looked deep into Naruto's. I thought you were dead, Itachi said. Naruto smiled a true smile. One that he hasn't had since the beginning of the Great War. So does everybody else, but I thought I would let at least you know what is going on, Naruto said as Itachi hugged Naruto again. Two men finally stood up and began to converse. What happened to you? Where did you go? Itachi began to ask. Hush hush. It all happened in the middle of the war when met a man that could help me, Naruto said as he told Itachi all that happened to him over the years. Most people would throw Naruto's story out the window, but Itachi had 100% trust in him, so Itachi believed every word that came out of Naruto's mouth. On the other hand, Itachi told Naruto everything that has happened to the countries over the years that he was gone. So, these separatists are going to attack our planet. Why would the droids attack us? We did nothing wrong, Itachi asked. They want more area so they could make more factories and produce more droids for the war against the Republic, Naruto said. Ah, now I get it, but why are you here? Itachi asked. Now I can't let my favorite planet die out after what I did to bring peace, Naruto said with a grin. Itachi smiled at this. So Naruto still like this planet after everything that has happened. I also take it you brought men along with you? Itachi asked. Bright as ever I see. Yes, I brought a little men, but not enough to take on an entire droid armada. These men might be good, but not good enough, Naruto said grimly. Then how do you plan on defending this planet? Itachi pushed. We are going to have to utilize what little ninja are left after the war and push them off. If we can successfully defend them once, then they won't try it again. Why? Because if they see us as a resistant planet, then holding it will be even more troublesome for them and won't waste the resources on trying to put the planet under check. I see. Well, it was nice to see you again, my blood brother, Naruto said with a smile as he held out his hand for Itachi to shake, but Itachi enveloped Naruto in a massive bear hug instead. When will I see you again and who can I tell about your survival? Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear. Soon, and anyone you deem worthy. I trust your judgment, Naruto said as he backed up from the hug. Goodbye, Itachi said as Naruto walked off into the forest. Goodbye, Naruto replied as he simply disappeared into the forest. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.